Let's play Can I Live Without This Component, also known as Mastery. Today we'll be going over what components you should save or destroy. We'll be going over how to get Mastery researches, some of the buffs and bonuses you can get from upgrading your Mastery, as well as some recommendations on when you should start and how far you should go to ensure that you're not overdoing it. Before we talk about which components should stay or go, let's talk about what it means to actually sacrifice components. So when you're in your arsenal and you're looking at your component pages, once you've reached a high enough level, you'll see that you've unlocked masteries. Now there's the tab for all three unit types, Army, Navy, and Air Force. And when you click on those tabs, you go to that corresponding unit's mastery page. Now we'll just use the Army for an example, but all the mastery pages work the same. There are three different masteries that you can sacrifice to. There's weapon, peripheral, and defense. Now, you do have to fill up all three of these. As you can see here, I have two partials, which are the orange bars, and a full one, which is the green bar. I've donated enough or sacrificed enough components to this for it to be full. Once I sacrifice enough to fill up all three of these, you'll be able to use mastery researches to upgrade the overall mastery level of that unit. Now, sacrificing components to this, of course, that means the component is completely gone. You can't get it back. There's no taking this back, so you want to make sure that you give the right thing. But how does it work? So you can see that my bar is currently 866 out of 1500 for this particular mastery, the weapon mastery. Now, as I give components to this bar can go up. You can click on them to see how much it'll give you without giving it. So you'll click on it, then you'll click convert, and that's what actually sacrifices it. Now, you'll notice that some of these have ×2 on the components. Of course, this means that particular component will give you twice the amount of experience versus components that don't have the ×2. Now, how many does it give you? How much experience does it give you? It's how many ever level 1s that it took to make it. So if we scroll to the bottom here, you'll see I have a level 1 invulnerability that is not ×2. I'll go from 866 to 867. So since it's not ×2, it's only giving me the 1. Now, if I were to do a level 2 component, it would give me 3. If I were to do a level 3 component, it would give me 9. Now, this is why we want to only use the components that are ×2. I'll go over which components we'll want to get rid of, but for each type of mastery, there are 2 components that will allow you to sacrifice, and it'll give you double the points. So instead of getting, if it takes 27 level 1s to make it, it'll give you 54 points instead. So it's always good to do the ×2 so you can get the most bang for your buck. Now, which ones should you sacrifice? I have my components page here set up. Now, the top or the Army, my Army components are the ones that I would recommend not getting rid of any of them unless you already have 3 level 10s. If you have 3 level 10s, that means you can fill up all 3 pages with that component, so that's why you would want 3 of them. These are the components that I would recommend not sacrificing. Weapon buff, damage increase, damage decrease, hit rate, high rate of fire, and armor buff. So all these Army components that I have equipped right now are the ones that you need to save. Now, it doesn't matter the level on this page. This page is just for visualization. So all the things that I have equipped to my Army, save these. They are generally the classic PvP components, and you need to get 3 sets of these, so you don't want to get rid of any of them. Now, the components that I have equipped to my Navy are the ones that you need to have at least 1, preferably a level 10, then you can start donating the excess. So that would be crit damage, crit buff, hit, and dex. And the reason for this is crit damage, crit buff, and hit are classic components that are used in a lot of world boss setups. So you'll want to save at least 1 of these. You'll want at least 1 level 10, and then you can start sacrificing your extra ones would be my recommendation. Now, dexterity, you'll also want 1 level 10. The reason is because dex is very helpful against the sand table. Once you're a high enough level and you're able to start surviving hits, dexterity can get you a lot more damage. So you'll want at least 1 level 10 of these 4 components. After that, it's okay to sacrifice them. So the Air Force are the components that are okay to sacrifice with either no conditions or some conditions that I just laid out. Invulnerability, always a good sacrifice. There's not really a use for it, so you can pretty much always sacrifice this. Then there's the dex, crit damage, crit buff, and hit, which are sacrificable after you have at least 1 level 10, as I mentioned. So Army, never sacrifice these. The Navy ones that I have set up, have at least 1 good one, then you can sacrifice the rest, and the bottom things are all things that are acceptable to sacrifice as long as you have met the conditions. The fact that they're on Army, Navy, or Air Force doesn't matter. Again, this page is just for visualization purposes. And one last thing to mention before we move on to how to get mastery research is if you over-sacrifice, that is okay. It carries over to the next level. Once you upgrade your overall mastery and everything opens back up for sacrifice, for example, here I'm over-sacrificing by 824. That 824 experience will carry over, so you don't lose anything if you over-sacrifice. For example, my mastery level or on my Air Force, when it was 0, I sacrificed a level 7 or 8 component, so all of my masteries had been full, and it's just been the mastery researches that were holding me back. I was just able to continuously upgrade my mastery level without sacrificing additional components because it carries over. So don't worry about over-sacrificing. You're not losing anything by doing that. Now, how to get mastery researches. Now, there's 3 ways I'm aware of. If you can find a 4th, let me know that's not paid, because obviously you can get them by paying money. But let's talk about the 3 ways you can get them for free. The first way is in the Legion store. Here, if you've managed to level up your rank on your daily quests enough, you're able to purchase 1 mastery research per day for 200 Legion points. Another way is through the radar truck. Now, the radar truck gives additional missions twice per day, and the missions that have the green cross occasionally give mastery researches as a reward, so you'll definitely want to keep an eye out for that. And then the third way is through the SVS store. In the SVS store, you can get them actually rather cheaply for 12 apiece, and you're able to get 5 per day. So for 60 points, you're able to get 5 per day, so you can definitely rack up the mastery researches really quick. Now let's talk about what kind of bonuses you can get for upgrading these masteries. Now, as you upgrade your weapons mastery, every time it gets full, you'll get a permanent 2% boost for that type of unit. So for example, if I were to upgrade my Navy mastery, it'll give me 2% Navy attack bonus permanently. This doesn't go away, and every time you max out the weapons mastery for another mastery level, it will give you an additional 2%. So since my mastery level is 10, so I've upgraded 10 times for my Navy, that means I'm getting a 20% Navy attack boost just for upgrading the weapons mastery. Now, the defense mastery and the peripheral mastery work the same way, except they give health boosts. So for a level 10, I'm getting an additional 40% health there. Now, of course, this is Navy boost because this is Navy, but if we went over to the Army, it would give that particular unit type bonus instead, Army attack or Army HP. Now, another thing that you can check out is the little eye up in the upper right-hand corner. You can click that and you can see different stat boosts you can get, but most importantly, up at the very top, you see your total stat boost that you're getting from this specific mastery. So we're in my Navy mastery. These are all the bonuses that I'm getting from my Navy mastery. This includes the 2% boosts that I continually get from upgrading these, as well as the boosts that I've gotten from upgrading my overall level. Now, you can always see 5 levels ahead of where you are. I'm level 10, which means I can see the bonuses all the way to level 15. Now, for the most part, with the exception of 5 levels, which we'll go over the 5 levels, all the boosts you're going to get are related to that type of unit by giving either an attack boost or an HP boost to whatever mastery you're working on. So, of course, this is my Navy page, which means the majority of these are Navy attack or Navy HP. But, of course, if we were on the Army or Air Force page, it would give its corresponding boost. But there are 5 pages that are very important and good to know because, for example, I'm upgrading the mastery for my Army and my Air Force, even though I'm a Navy main and I don't have my components complete yet. Why is that? Well, let's go ahead and look at those boosts. At level 5, there is a 10% all-unit attack and all-unit HP boost. So if I get my Navy and Army up to level 5, that's an additional 20% when I add those together that go to all units. So it's helping my Navy out as well. So it's a good thing to hit certain checkpoints in these masteries because it can also help out the other units. The next level is at level 10. You get a 15% all-unit HP boost as well as a 5% damage decrease. These bonuses are the same for the Army and Air Force, so you can upgrade them to get these bonuses as well. So if you manage to get all 3 of them to level 10, you're getting some serious damage reduction bonuses there and HP boosts. The other levels that are good is at level 15, you get a 15% all-unit attack increase and a 5% damage increase. Now, the other 2 levels I'm going to go over, I have them on my spreadsheets. You can check out my Discord to find out all the numbers related to the masteries because we won't be able to hit everything in this video, but those spreadsheets will have things like how many mastery experience it takes to get to level 10 or how many experience you get for sacrificing a component, but there are two other levels of relevance. At level 17, you get a +2 march increase, so if you somehow manage to get all three to level 17, you get a +6 march size increase by adding them all together. And another relevant one is at level 18, you'll get a 2% march speed increase as well as an increase to your gather speed. So there are 5 different levels that affect all units once you've unlocked them. And another thing that you unlock, this is purely cosmetic, but once you reach level 9 mastery for something, your units will actually begin to sparkle. Well, not sparkle, but they're shiny. So as you can see here, I have my Navy units and they're kind of shining and my Army units are not. That's because my Navy is mastery level 10. At level 9, I unlock the ability that in all my reports, my Navy starts to look a little bit holographic. So that's just kind of a neat little bonus. If you get it to level 9, your units will start to be shiny and everybody will be confused for a little while. It's good for laugh. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about today is when should you start upgrading your masteries and when should you stop? Because it's very easy to overextend yourself and sacrifice too many components and you end up being at a disadvantage because you don't have a bunch of level 10 components like everybody else. So I'll go over how I plan on doing everything with my masteries, and this is what I would recommend to other people. So your main unit, so whichever type is your main, for me personally, that was the Navy, I would recommend getting it to level 5 as soon as possible, and then stopping there. Once you reach level 5 mastery, your main focus should be getting level 10 components, mostly your level 10 high rate of fire. That one's the most important, but I would recommend trying to get a full set of level 10 components for both the world boss and PvP. Once you have done that, then I would continue to upgrade your main mastery to level 10, where you get the HP boost as well as the damage decrease. Once you reach level 10, that is where I would recommend stopping, and then I would do upgrades to your 2 off units. So for me, that was the Army and the Air Force. I'm getting them to level 5, and then I'm going to stop again. I will stop there, and we'll see where I'm at. I might push them to level 10, but right now I want my main level 10 and my off level 5. And the reason for that is once they hit level 5, I'm going to go back to working on getting a bunch of level 10 components. Ideally, you want 3 level 10 components of each type of component. And the reason for that is that means you can make any combination you want because you can have a component, a level 10 component, for example, high rate of fire, on your Army, Navy, and Air Force. So the gold standard is 3 level 10 components. After that, anything past that is just extra, and it's perfectly fine to sacrifice towards something. So that's my recommendation. Now, how much does it take to get to level 5 and level 10? Because those are the fairly easy checkpoints to get to. Well, the level 5 is pretty easy. The level 10 takes some work. Now, to get to level 5, including all the levels and all the sacrificing you need to do, you'll need to sacrifice equivalent to 7,590 level 1 components. Now, of course, you cut that in half if you're doing ×2, and to get to level 5, it's going to take you a total of 23 mastery researches. So getting to level 5 is not too bad. If you were to do the ×2, that's about equivalent to maybe 1.5 level 8 components. So it's definitely work, but it's not terrible. Now, if you wanted to get to level 10, you're going to have to donate what is equivalent to 57,390 level 1 components. So that's definitely going to take a lot of time. For reference, that's equivalent to 2.5 level 10 components. Now, of course, you can cut this in half if you're doing the ×2, but it is still an awful lot of components to sacrifice to get to level 10, which is why you want to make sure you have at least 1 level 10 of all the types of components you're sacrificing so you can still compete. Now, the number of mastery researches total that it would take you to reach level 10 is 353. So that's a lot of mastery researches, and whether or not you're working on your mastery levels, it is very important to get as many mastery researches as you can because you definitely will be burning through them very quickly once you start upgrading your mastery levels. Now, I could probably go on for quite a while about masteries. I know this video was much longer than most of my other videos, but I wanted to make sure that I gave a good, detailed explanation on this. This has been a highly requested video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, any questions you may have. Make sure you visit my Discord, which is in the description below. You can check out the spreadsheets that give much more detailed information. So the costs for, experience, mastery researches for every individual level is on there. Fun fact, the max level for masteries is level 20. So you'll be working on this for a while. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and as always, have a fantastic day.